All right, friends, it's time for a book tour. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So if you have been following me here or on any of the other social media platforms for the last year and a half, you know that I have been working on a book that is inspired by the Ace Dad Advice project that I do, a book that encapsulates all of the information, empowerment, advice, and encouragement that I give all the time in my videos here and on social media. And we are finally here. Yeah, it's here. It is a real book. I finally got my hands on author copies, and the book comes out officially on February 21st, and I am so excited to send this book into the world. So since we're just a few weeks away, I thought it would be cool to do a little book tour of I Am Ace, Advice on Living Your Best Asexual Life, so that you learn a little bit about how the book came to be. We'll walk through what you can expect if you pick up the book, and we also will talk a little bit about who it's for and what's the goal of the project. If you want to know how you can get your hands on a copy of the book, I'll leave all the information in the description, where you can either grab it online at a couple of places or through some independent bookstores around the country that I am particularly very fond of. You can also, on my website, see some places where I'm going to have some virtual events and some in-person events over the next several months in support of the book. So if you grab your copy and I happen to be coming someplace near you, come and see me and I'll sign your copy. A little bit of history. So I wanted to start by talking a little bit about how this book came to be. So I started Ace Dad Advice 2 years ago. I can't believe I've been doing this for 2 years. But it started on TikTok. Ace Dad Advice was given birth on TikTok. I downloaded TikTok at the insistence and recommendation of my barber, Todd. Shout out to Todd. And I did. And one day when I was at work, I just randomly made a video about me being asexual. And I uploaded it, I sent it, made it sent out into the world, and, assumed that nobody would watch it. Go to work for a few more hours, I come back to TikTok, and I find that there are hundreds and hundreds of comments, and all of a sudden I have a ton of followers. And people are saying things like, wow, I've never seen an ace adult before. I didn't know ace adults were out there. I feel so encouraged by seeing ace grown-ups doing okay. And I was overwhelmed by the response I got from a lot of young people out there, and realized that maybe there was something there. The response to Ace Dad Advice has just been unbelievable to me. I am knocked out all the time when I think about what has happened to me in the last 2 years, the opportunities I've gotten, the community of people that I've engaged with online, my conversations and moments of sharing that I've had with all of you out there. Just utterly unbelievable to me. And one of the coolest things that happened when I was making Ace Dad Advice was that I got an email from a publisher, Jessica Kingsley Publishers, who said, hey, I think what you're doing online is pretty cool. Would you ever consider turning it into a book? And I was like, yes. 100% yes. I would 100% turn it into a book. I love that idea. And that was how I Am Ace, Advice on Living Your Best Asexual Life was born. The book. So I Am Ace is designed to be a kind of a one-stop guidebook for people who are at the beginning of their asexual journey. It is specifically aimed at young adult audiences, so that's folks upper middle school, high school, early college. It is written with those folks in mind, but it is good for everyone who is either questioning whether or not they may be asexual, or for those who are at the very start of their asexual journey and just want a little bit of guidance. The book mirrors the way Ace Dad Advice works. It is as you can see, sort of like questions and answers. So the bold stuff, that's like questions that I get all the time, and then I answer them. And each chapter is filled with these kind of mini essays, me answering questions, the same way I do in my videos on TikTok and Instagram and everywhere else. The book also includes some personal stories of mine that relate to each of the subjects of each of the chapters. So throughout, I'm also sharing my own journey of recognizing that I was queer as a young person, recognizing I was asexual as an adult, the challenges of being ace in relationships, the challenges of connecting with my asexuality and the world. I share stories about my growing up, my family, my relationships, and just my own journey through my own self-doubt and my own insecurities. So I Am Ace is part memoir, part self-help, part advice, part asexuality introductory primer, all of those things smushed together into this beautiful bound package with my little face on the back. The book is organized into 3 parts. The first part is asexuality and you. So the purpose of the first part is to really help you understand your own relationship to asexuality. So it covers what asexuality is, it explains sexual orientation and how that works. It talks about attraction, it talks about libido, it talks about arousal, it talks about micro-labels and the language of the asexual community. And it digs into some of the deep questions and challenging questions that we have when we're figuring ourselves out. How do we really know we're asexual? This first part of the book is all about you. It is about how you come to terms with your own understanding of yourself as an asexual person. Then we move into part 2, asexuality and others. So the second part of the book is focused on the next step. Like once you understand asexuality yourself, it is then you going out into the world and sharing that possibly with others. So the second part of the book has chapters about coming out, whether or not you should, the positive benefits of coming out, how to come out safely and securely, and other questions that people have about coming out. It includes a section about running into aphobia and microaggressions, how to handle them, how to think about them, and how not to let those negative messages about asexuality infiltrate your own confidence in who you are. And the middle part also talks about asexuality and relationships. For those folks who are going to pursue romantic relationships or other kinds of intimate relationships, I have a couple of chapters that are focused on relationships, how to navigate them, how to have them, what kinds of relationships you can have as an asexual person, and how to navigate intimacy with a partner of all kinds. And then the third part is asexuality and the world. The third part of the book moves out even further. It describes and explores how asexuality brushes up against the rest of the world, how it brushes up against some of the normative forces that exist for us, to help you understand them and to understand how they are not telling the truth about asexuality. It is also about how asexuality brushes up against the larger queer community and where asexual people fit into the LGBTQIA+ community. And the book then ends with a chapter about finding ace joy. It is a chapter that is aimed to encourage you to sort of feel and understand that you as an ace person have a beautifully valid place in the world. You don't have to be ashamed. You don't deserve to feel shame, that you deserve to experience the joy of being who you are. And the book ends with just a little final message from me to you about the things that I hope you have when you close the book and put it on your shelf and take those steps out into the world. So the entire book is really designed as a journey. We start with understanding ourselves. Then we move into understanding how we relate to individually other people. And finally, we start to understand how we relate to the world at large. So who's this book for? Well, I think this book is mainly for folks who are at the beginning of their asexual journey. You know, this is Ace 101 right here. If you are just figuring out that you're ace, or you're new to it, or you just have some questions about asexuality, maybe you are just in the dawning moments of understanding that ace might be who you are, this book is for you. I think it's also a great book for those who want to learn more about asexuality, for the people around them who might be. If you are allo and you don't know anything about asexuality, I think I Am Ace would be very helpful to you in understanding what our community is like, what our experiences are like, and to answer some questions about how hard it is to be us. And I think this book, for really kind of no matter who you are and where you are in your journey, is a useful tool in just like reminding yourself that who you are is a-okay, and that being ace is not something to feel shame about. Being ace is not something to feel inadequate about. That being ace is just as important and just as valuable and just as authentic as any other experience out there. That's what I hope this book does. As always, thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed the book tour, and I hope that it encouraged you to maybe go buy the book on February 21st. Would love that. As always, I really, really appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.